I was really excited to just dedicate my weekend to doing something that was shaped around the focus of telling a narrative and a story. I was also excited about the idea of collaborating with people who are from completely different industries and just see what sort of innovative storytelling we could do together.
We wanted to make it the best hackathon experience that anyone's had. We wanted to find ways to connect people to issues that they weren't aware of and help them to tell those stories in a beautiful way.
All of our groups were able to be creatively engaged with each other and with the issues, so they were given a fairly comprehensive issue brief before the event even took place so that they could learn about what the challenges are, what the goals are for this weekend, what some of the facts are about the issue, and we had these immersion experiences during the week where a group who is going to be addressing homelessness can actually go to the Bronx and meet with an organization that works with the homeless and is run by the homeless.
Social impact stories are powerful, and they can be told in really, really compelling ways that make people shift their perspective, that make people take action, that make people care.
In a short 36-hour time frame, we don't have a ton of time, so we're basically right now in the middle of decision making to finalize a direction and a concept and hopefully start dividing up into teams to start getting the work done.
I think in a lot of what we're actually looking at in the brief here in the story and the way that we're outlining it is that everyone is affected by gun violence, whether it's at the core of a shooting or somewhere after the ripple effect, and it's sort of disregarded by people who are really on the outside until something happens to them, and I think that's a problem.
It's a higher cost because technically they give you one little. I'm here to assist in sharing my experiences and kind of giving more of an in-depth insight into how it really is in solitary, the damages of it, and the components of solitary confinement within a national level.
What are all our mandatories for whatever idea we're going to choose? We got short and catchy, something with a good headline, shift perspectives, there's empathy, it's not heavy-handed, people will not feel guilty afterwards, frame it in a way that makes it feel solvable.
Bottom of your receipt could be a QR code that launches you to this website or app that shows you geolocating, like kind of Yelp does, the businesses that pop up on the pledge nearby you. I wonder if you could even get, using some of the data that's already in Yelp or something.
Could we partner with Yelp, for example, to see where, if I want to go to this place,
Yes, absolutely.
how...
That's a great idea. Because then you could get them to just be one of their data fields, right? Like good for crowds, yes, no. Living wage for workers, yes, no.
Yeah, exactly.
So what we're going to create today is a map, and essentially this map shows where you can live and what you can do within a city. And the city is going to be somewhat fictional, but based on New York. We found there's a relationship with what you can do and how you can live based on an extra $1 an hour. And we found that $1 an hour is about 6 cents more on a burger. So the idea is add 6 cents to a burger, gives a worker at that restaurant $1 more. And for every $1 an hour more, you can raise that living experience incrementally. It's $250 a month. So it means you can live in a better neighborhood, or you can live in a better part of your building, or it means you can afford health care, or it means you can afford to actually feed yourself and go off food stamps. There's a lot you can do with that extra $1 an hour.
The other one that we had talked about on Thursday was just like a day in the life. So you kind of do show a clock of like just what is your day like in solitary. You spend this whole day in a cell counting the bolts, counting the towels, counting the cracks in the wall, and then you're among New York City and how that affects your senses. I think we can do something multimedia related with that.
Immigrants from communities all around the U.S. are being taken from their homes and being put into detention centers hundreds of miles away from them. We're going to make it easy for the families of the detained to find them through the simplest interface possible, which is a text message. The federal website that has that information is not usable. So we are going to explain the process of accessing that information on our website.
We're talking a lot about PTSD and the mental health problems that are associated with people who are affected by gun violence, whether directly or indirectly, rather than focusing on guns themselves or focusing on the shooter.
Looking for help is looked at as a weakness in itself, so then you don't want to do that. Masculinity, particularly in the hood, tells you, anyway, masculinity anywhere tells you have to defend, you have to protect, and if you don't do either, you're less than. So with the way that looks in, a place like Brownsville or South Jamaica, Queens, or South Bronx is, just like I got a new pair of Nikes, a new pair of Jordans, or what have you, I got a gun, I'm still, that's I got a little status.
Sorry, I have had no sleep. You don't have access to the full city when you're trapped on your wage island, right? There are all these facilities and services you don't have access to. You are stuck in food deserts, you're in transportation holes. We have lots of terms to describe these types of areas, but they're not just geographic, it's also social. And so what we want to do is show that as a representation of the city, that you can rise the city up and basically remove the islands and make it into a single continent. We hit an idea and then we just ran with it. I was kind of shocked that we landed on it, but it was about 11 o'clock yesterday when we just made the decision to go in this direction. By 4 o'clock, we knew exactly what all the components were going to be. We have an economist researching the aspects of how all the levels of income will change a person's life. We have writers, and we have an illustrator, and we have a developer, and we have someone who specializes in making maps, and then I am particularly specialized in making physical objects. Also, we didn't sleep. That was the other thing. No sleep, that helps.
So the app allows the family members to report the loved ones who have gone missing, presumably taken by the federal government and put into detention. We took about 10, 12 hours yesterday to pull all the pieces together. Today we are putting the design elements in place. The most challenging thing was coming up with the idea. We had to communicate with the issue leaders and tell them about what we thought was possible. And there are a lot of sensitivities involved and privacy issues.
So we are in the final frazzle. There's like less than 90 minutes left, and the team is furiously making sure our robust second half of our project, which is the website, has some great looking infographics. And then we're also finalizing the video, and that we've run into a few technical hiccups, but that always happens. There wouldn't be any fun without it.
I really do hope people are walking away with something that can actually be used to change perceptions. I think keeping that goal front of mind for each of us is really important, that we're solving problems for nonprofits that have come needing these stories to be better told. Storytelling does not have to be a long, complicated, expensive process. Human beings were born to tell stories. We make sense of the world through stories. So it's completely possible to come up with transformative stories under the pressure of time, because it's literally in our nature to tell stories.
I'm like totally blown away by how fun this has been, how energized you guys have been in this process, by the level of the work and the conversations and the dialogue.
I just wanted to start by sharing a little bit of my experience going to an immigration detention center on Thursday. And I got the opportunity to talk to a woman named Mariama, and she had been in there for 3 weeks after coming to the US without a visa from Gambia to escape an abusive husband. And she had so much optimism that hadn't been sucked out of her from this horrible place that she had been put in. And so it was kind of a weird experience because I was so happy meeting her to get to connect with her, but I was in this horrible place. And I think that her optimism for our country and the freedom that she was yearning for and that she still feels a sense of possibility around is what really inspired us to tell this story.
We've been locked down for 19 hours a day.
Well, they wake us up at 4 in the morning, like the same routine every day. And well, most of the time we're just in a room.
This happens every day on American soil. It's called immigration detention, and it's the law. Congress mandates how many immigrants must be locked up at all times. 34,000.
Every time a gun is shot, it's not just that incident that led to it, and it's not that it ended over there. There's a life before it, and there's a life after it that's lived by everybody who's involved and who's experienced gun violence. And to break into the issue, we started collecting these stories of people who actually experienced it, and we filmed these videos, and I want to show you some of them.
When our team dove into the issue of homelessness, we skimmed the surface because we realized how complex it is. And so think about this group of people that we call the homeless. It's almost like we're calling them humanless. And I think we wanted to challenge that definition because we believe that homeless is actually a misnomer, that they are the houseless, and they are a large part, more people than we had realized.